Hello friend, this is your 500-liter vacuum emulsifying mixer, and now the machine is finished, and I will tell you how to use this machine step by step. First, you can check when we deliver this machine, we will dismantle these parts. So we will mark the number and letter on it. You can assemble these parts according to the same numbers and letters. And then you should connect to your factory power. Open the control panel. And then you may check inside the L1, L2, L3 wire, the neutral wire, and the ground wire. You should connect to your factory power. And you may check inside. This is the Siemens components and the Schneider components. Let's see. And then you may check the other wires. We also mark the numbers here. You may check down here. And you should connect according to the same numbers. And then you may check these two soft pipes. This is the water inlet pipe and this is the water outlet pipe, and we will put the label here to remind you which pipe is which. And then you should connect to your water inlet pipe and water outlet pipe like this soft pipe, and it's transparent. You can check here. You should keep this well open all the time because the vacuum pump, the homogenizer, will need water inside when it is working. And also if you need to heating the jacket and the tank, you should need water, so you should keep this well open all the time. And you may check inside the vacuum pump, the solenoid valve, and the transparent pipe here. These two transparents is to cooling down the homogenizer when it's working. Also, you can check the direction of the water inlet pipe here. You may check. And the water outlet pipe here. You may check. And then go through the direction of the pipe. You can check here. These two transparent pipe is to cooling down the homogenizer here. And then this one is the water outlet pipe. The water will comes through the jacket and then the water will come through here. And then this pipe is the water inlet pipe. We also equip the valve here. And then you may check this one is the discharge valve. If you need to discharge the materials, spin this and then the material will discharge from here. And then you may check these two is the heating rod. This is the heating rod. And also this is the temperature probe to detect the temperature inside the tank. And also you may check this homogenizer is the ABB brand here. And now I will tell you how to use the heating function. First, equip these two pipes and then let the water inside it, and you should keep this well open all the time. And then also you should let this well open, now it's closed, to let the water inside the tank's jacket here. And then when the water comes out through here, the water outlet pipe, and the water comes out through here, it means that the jacket is full of water. And then you can close this water inlet valve. The jacket is full of water, so you can use the heating function. Make sure do not turn off this valve. Let this valve open all the time. Okay, and now I will introduce the cover accessories of the main tank. And first, you can check here, we have the down function and the reset function of this tank. When you need to tilting down this tank, you can use this down function. And when you need to reset the tank, you can push here, and then the tank will reset to the correct place. And now let's check the upstairs cover. Here you may check this is the manhole. You can use this to spin the scraper and then remove the mist and see clearly of the tank inside. And then for this is the ingredient hopper. You can add some ingredients into the tank when you need. Just turn on this valve or turn off. And then this is the pressure gauge. You may see when you use the vacuum function, this pressure gauge will change and will tell you the pressure of the vacuum. And this is the vacuum valve when you need to use the vacuum function. Make sure all the other valves here are closed, and then you can open this valve to use the vacuum function. And here you may check, this is the material inlet pipe here. And you can suck the materials through this pipe from the water tank and oil tank here. Just use the valve here. And then you may check, this is the breathing pods. When you don't need the vacuum function, you can turn on this breathing pods to release the vacuum, but you should make sure that the other valves are closed too. And this is the CIP sprayable function, and you can equip a soft pipe here to let the water inside the tank, and turn on this valve to let the water inside it, and then you can clean the tank. And then this is the lighting. You can see now the light is on, and you can check the material inside the tank clearly. And you may check inside is the paddle, mixing paddle, and the homogenizer here. And for the water tank and oil tank, we have designed it as the half-open lid and equipped the disperser inside it. You may see it's the bottom disperser here. And also the bottom disperser here of the oil tank. Okay, and you may check down here is the water tank and oil tank button. And you may check we also use the ABB motor, and we equip the heating rod of these two tanks. You may check. And also you may check the temperature probe here and here. And for the water tank and oil tank, our engineer has already put the heating transfer oil inside it, so you don't need to put the water inside the jackets. You can directly use the heating function of these two tanks. Okay, and now you may check, this is the control panel of this whole machine. And now I will introduce each function to you. And you may see this is the lights of the whole machines, and then it's the warning alarm. It will make loud noise to let you know that machine is going wrong. And also you may check, this is the lighting. And now you can check here, the lighting is on of the main tank. And then this is the emergency stop button. When the warning alarm is make loud noise, you can use this emergency stop button, spin it, and then stop the whole machine, and then check where the machine is going wrong. And you may check, here is some diagrams of the whole machine. You may check here. You may check here. And then it's for the voltmeter. This is the voltmeter. And then show you the currents of the oil tank, water tank, main tank, and the homogenizer currents of the main tank. Here we also equip you the homogenizing time. You can set the homogenizing time here. And then it's for the temperature. It's for the oil tank temperature, water tank temperature, and the main tank temperature. You can set the temperature here to use the heating function. And then you may see we equip you the 4 inventors, and this is the oil pots inventor, water pots mixing inventor, and the main tank mixing inventor, and the homogenizing inventor. It's all the Siemens brand. And here you may check, we have 3 lines of the button. One is the light to show you if the button is working or not. And you may see here is the oil pot heating, oil pot mixing, the water pot heating, the water pot mixing, and the main pot heating function, the main pot the main pot heating function and the main pot mixing function, the homogenizing function of the main tank, the vacuum function of the main tank, and the hydraulic up, hydraulic down of the main tank, and then the main tank's dumping and reset function. You may also control here to use the button. Okay, and now we can test the machine. First, we can test the vacuum function. Here, you may check. When you use the vacuum function, make sure all the other valves are closed. You may check here, and this manhole should close. And here of the other valves. You may check now it's closed, closed, and this one closed. And then you can use this vacuum function. First, you should turn on the vacuum valve and then turn on the vacuum button on the control panel. Okay, let's test it. Turn on the vacuum valve. And then turn on the vacuum function here. Then you may check now the vacuum function is working. Also, you may see here the light is on. And the vacuum pressure is changing. Also, you can check the voltmeter now is changing here. Okay, if you want the vacuum pressure is arrived to what you want, you can first turn off the vacuum function on the control panel here. And then you may turn off the vacuum valve here. And then this tank now is under the vacuum stage. Let me check here. Also, and if you don't want to use the vacuum function, you need to release the vacuum. You should use this breathing pot to release the vacuum. And first, you should make sure all the other valves are closed. Here, closed, 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 and closed here. And then for this DIP spray ball valve, closed also. And then use this breathing pot valve to release the vacuum. And you may check now the pressure is changing. And the pressure now is arrived to the normal. And release the pressure. And if the pressure is relieved, and you can turn off the breathing pot valve. And now we can test the material inlet function. Open the valve of the material inlet. And then you can see you can stop the materials from the water tank. And then you can close it. And also you may check here is the status of the material inside the main tank. And then for the oil tank, it's the same. Open the material inlet function. And then you may check the water is sucked from the main tank. And then if you don't want, just turn off it. Okay, and now we can test the main tank's mixing function. If you want to use the mixing function first, you should make sure you turn on the main tank's mixing here. Open it. And then you should open the mixing inventory of the main tank here. You can see the speed is changing now to the maximum. And you may check through the manhole. Now is the maximum speed of the mixing function. Okay, if you don't want to use the mixing function first, you should turn off the mixing inventory here. Set it to the 0. And then turn off the main tank mixing function button here. And you may see the paddle is now stopped. Okay, and now we can test the hydraulic up function of the main tank here. Use the hydraulic up function. And you may see the alarm make loud noise to let you know you are hydraulic up the main tank. And you may check here, also we have the lights to show you of the hydraulic column. Okay, and now this main tank is hydraulic up to the top. You may check here. Also, you may check this is the 2 CIP spray ball of the main tank. And now we can test the homogenizing function. Also, it's like the mixing function. You should find the homogenizing function of the main tank here. Open the button and then open the homogenizing inventory. And you may check the homogenizing motor. Light is here. Then you may check inside the main tank. Also, if you don't want to use the homogenizing function, turn off the homogenizing inventory first. Here, and then you may turn off the button. Okay, now we can test the heating function of the main tank. And you may check this is the display of the actual temperature now. Now is 23 degrees Celsius. If you want to set the temperature first, you can change it. Push this button, and then the setting temperature now is 25 degrees Celsius. If you need to high up to set like the 40 degrees Celsius, and now push this button. And then now the setting temperature is 40 degrees Celsius. Also, if you want to let the temperature go down, you may set like here and push the button. And then now the setting temperature is 35 degrees Celsius. And if you make sure that the jacket is full of water, then you can use the main tank heating function. And now we can use heat right here. You can push this button because now the jacket is full of water. And then you can check the main port current. Now the current is changing and the heater is now working. Here you may check. And because the heating need more time, so we will not test it. And now we can turn off the main tank heating button here. And then the current is go to the 0. Okay, and now we can see the actual temperature here. And for the oil pot temperature and the water pot temperature, it all display here. And if you want to use the oil tank and water tank heating function, you can also set the temperature here. Now go up. For example, and for the water tank, it's the same. You may check. And also, because our engineer has put the heating transfer oil into the oil pots and water pots, so you can directly use the heating function of the water tank and oil tank. Here you may check the oil tank heating function here and the water tank heating function here. You may just push the button and you may check the current is changing. And for the water tank heating, you may check here. Also, the heating is working. And then turn off it. Also, we have the homogenizing time here. You can first set the time like this, 5 minutes, and then you can use the homogenizing function here. You may check the homogenizing is working. And then when the time is arrived to what you set, like arrived to 5 minutes, it will stop the homogenizing function automatically. Now we can turn off it manually. Okay, and now let's test the oil tank and water tank dispersing function. First, it's the same of the main tank where you need to use the oil tank mixing function. Turn on the green button of the oil tank mixing, and then turn on the oil tank mixing inventory here. And then you may check now the dispersing is working. And if you don't want to use it, let's turn off the mixing inventory of the oil tank. And then turn off the button. And then the dispersing is stopped. Okay, and the same for the water tank. Turn on the button. And then turn on the water tank mixing inventory. Also, you may check this is now working. And then if you don't want to use the function, turn off the inventory first. And then turn off the button. And you may check now the dispersing function is stopped. And for the dumping function of the main tank, you can check here. We have the buttons. Also, you may use that button to dumping the main tank. And just keep push the button. And now the main tank is tilting down. Okay, and you can tilting the materials, and if you want to use the reset button, push it, and then the main tank will reset to the correct place. Okay, And now the main tank is reset to the correct place, so you can use the hydraulic down function. And now we can test the hydraulic down function. Push this green button, hydraulic down here. And now the main tank is hydraulic down. The alarm is making the noise, and you may see the light here. Okay, and now the main tank is completely hydraulic down. And this is the end of the 500-liter vacuum emulsifying mixer introduction. Thank you.